My friend Steve, he gave me a call one day and said, "Hey brother, have I got a deal for you?" He's like, "I've been designing these trains for other people. We can do this for ourselves." And I was hooked, I was in. This is a fantastic idea. We can work together, which would be great because we're friends, but we can do something to benefit the model railroading community. And I was hooked.
I was trying to find an outlet because, I liked playing with cars. I mean, that was fun, the motion, all that stuff. But I love building models too. And it was like I was looking for that hobby where I could combine both motion, sense of play, and the ability to build models because I loved building models. One year for Christmas, my oldest brother got a model train, real simple thing that my parents gave him. And the funny thing was, I played with it more than he did.
And from the time I was a little kid until now, I mean, it's like, going out with girls, going and watching trains. And I know that sounds funny, but it really, and eventually I got to the point where I could take the girls out and watch trains with the girls, so I got the best of both worlds. And
I would say my dad got me into model railroading. He's always been a hobbyist, he was an enthusiast. And I remember as a little kid, he got this 4x8 sheet of plywood, put this railroad on it, and it was steam. It was his pride and joy. He built a mountain on the side of it and had little buildings and crossing gates and whatnot. And my sister and I would go downstairs and play with this train. And we wrecked it a dozen times, but we had fun with it. And I would say it was my dad that got me involved.
It's funny, Stephen Priest actually moved a few houses down from where I was growing up at the time. And his most recent railroad, the last one, I actually kind of grew up working on that from about 10 or 12 years of age. We'd work on that every Tuesday with the big group, and then we'd work on that a lot of nights during just regular weeknights for about 7 years. And I loved helping with that railroad. It was a great way to learn new skills, learned a lot about building things, especially with the scale of it. You got to learn all kinds of different things, not just railroading. You got to learn, electrical, house electrical, construction, everything like that. It's a great experience, and that's kind of how I got into it, and from there it's just evolved.
when we talk about model railroads, you have to understand that a locomotive or a freight car really is nothing more than a detail part for your model railroad. So what we're doing is we're providing things that can be added, detail parts in the form of locomotives and freight cars, detail parts that can be added to your railroad to elevate it to state-of-the-art level.
It means that we design awesome looking equipment that'll run on anybody's railroad and make their railroad better. It'll make their layout awesome. Just seeing our equipment on their railroad with the detail, the precision, the accuracy. Excellent models.
Having worked for the railroad in the engineering department, it allowed me to meet all kinds of people so that we've been able to do projects like the BNSF 25th anniversary locomotive paint scheme, and then later on the 5704 bicentennial scheme. And that was not accidental, that all those dots kind of fell into place to be able to do those large scale projects.
I've been running a small 3D printing operation called Dimensional Modeling Concepts. And basically in that business, I've been able to literally create a lot of things that the other manufacturers have never made.
Through writing books and doing magazine articles, I eventually became the editor of Railroad Model Craftsman magazine and the NMRA magazine. And that allowed me to work with other modelers to take their raw materials, their raw ideas, articles and things, and flesh them out, do good graphics, color correct images, and then make beautiful articles out of them.
Probably one of the biggest impacts I've had, at least to date, has been helping the amateur radio community. With what I did previously, I've helped thousands and thousands of ham radio operators be successful getting on the air, talking to people around the world, and that's been huge for me and huge for them, being able to be that source of information and being able to help them. And that's what we're going to bring here on an even greater scale to the modeling community, helping people build state-of-the-art model railroads, the absolute best they can achieve, and really make people's dreams come true.
When we talk about precision and accuracy, it goes back to your starting points. It's always about starting points. I mean, you can create anything if you have the material. I mean, literally, you can create a skyscraper if you have the material. The thing with us is that in order to do that, and the reason we've been able to do that is because we know people, we know the industry, Being an architectural engineer, I know how to take ideas, measurements and things and parse them and be able to create models from that. One of the other interesting things is that this is not just me. At Class1ModelWorks.com, we have a fantastic team.
And we have such a diverse set of skills. We have people who are brilliant with being able to picture things, envision things, see things through. People brilliant with design, all the intricate details. Engineers being able to really actually make things the way they were in the real railroad. People who've worked at the real railroad. People who can reach out and allow you to actually receive all this information.
So it's all of the little details that really, really make the impact of realism. And that's what we're trying to achieve in model railroading, is that realism. So basically, as an engineer, I look at every detail, every little thing. And having an engineer's eye, even though I may not have a picture or a measurement, a lot of times I can use that engineering guesstimate to say, hey, that's a standard component that I know is this size. So literally, by getting all of that together and using that engineer's mentality, it makes it possible to produce the finest quality with all of those details that a lot of other manufacturers don't pay attention to.
Part of the responsibility of being a model railroad company like Class1ModelWorks.com is being able to go out and interact with the prototype railroad equipment, but not just the equipment, with the people, the researchers, the authors and things, to take that information, filter it, and then create good models out of it. And that's one of the things we're really about, is to create good, accurate models. It's amazing when people would come down and look at the 5704 and say, man, I've got a model of that.
Basically, it's that realism. It's being able to bring them all of the things to put it together so that when you look at it, even though it's your eyeballs and it might be miniature, you can immerse yourself in it and you can literally be in the scene, and it looks like you want it to look. It feels like you want it to feel. It feels like a real locomotive. It feels like real cars. State of the art is bringing to you everything that brings that realism to life.